This is good, a new announcement that was just released today. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. Alright, a very important announcement was released earlier today, and it actually came in pretty good, even though it is still really bad. I want to talk through all the details for you right here in the video, and let you know what this means for all of us being low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries, as well as virtually everybody else right here in the United States. Let's get right into it and talk about all the details. However, really fast before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video, as it's totally free to do so, and because I am your one and only daily advocate, I'm here for you right by your side each and every day, watching all this new information hitting the wire, doing all the necessary research, and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can understand how it's going to impact you, your money, your benefits, your lifestyle, your bank account, and of course anything out there right now popping up that you can possibly grab and or take advantage of as a low-income or fixed-income beneficiary, including money, benefits, programs, checks, stimulus, or anything else like that. Of course, I want to bring it to your attention right away. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and I'll be here for you every single day right by your side. That's my dedication and that's my commitment, and as always, I'm sticking to it. All right, thanks again. Let's jump into it and talk about the very important and highly anticipated announcement that came out earlier today, and I want to talk you through the details about this. All right, so earlier today, we got the highly anticipated CPI, Consumer Price Index, otherwise known as the inflation number for the month of October. Now, generally, these reports come out in the middle of the month for the prior month, and that's exactly what we got today. Now, as I came out just a couple of days ago, I came out and gave you some ranges as far as what economists, analysts, experts, and people that were watching inflation right now were suggesting that inflation was going to be for the month of October. Well, get this, inflation actually came in lower than we were anticipating. Yes, this generally has not been happening for the last several months now, but inflation actually came in a little bit lower than what they were actually anticipating. Here's what it came in. The headline number came in at 7.7%. Meanwhile, the month prior, it came in at 8.2%. So inflation is actually going down. So on a month-over-month basis, inflation was still up 0.4%, which is actually less than they were anticipating. They were anticipating it was going to be up 0.6%, and on a year-over-year basis, it's up 7.7%. So that's why I said earlier in the video, it came in good, but yet at the same time, it's still really bad, okay? That's what I want to talk about here, because even though this is coming in lower, and it shows that inflation is actually slowing down and going down a little bit, at the end of the day, a 7.7% inflation rating year over year is very, very, very high. In fact, this number really should be about 2 to 2.5%. That's what it really should be. So we're like a solid 5% above where it actually should be, okay? So at the end of the day, inflation is maybe going down a little bit, but still, it's very, very high historically to where it really should be right now, okay? So that's why I said it's good, but at the same time, it's kind of bad, okay? So let me talk you through the details about this, because there's all kinds of reports coming out right now, and I want to talk you through some of the other details about this. In fact, I just came across another report today that is showing the average household right now is still spending an extra $445 more every single month right now than what we were spending just 1 year ago because of our favorite friend, inflation. Just kidding. Inflation is not our friend, okay? Not right now, it's not anyway. Maybe someday it will be, but right now it is certainly not our friend. However, this report went on to show that about 51% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck right now across all income scales. So it could be somebody earning $10,000 a year. It could be somebody earning $50,000, $75,000, $100,000, $150,000, $200,000. It doesn't really matter. Across all income brackets, 51% of people are living paycheck to paycheck right now. It's kind of a sad situation, right? Not only that, like I said, the average household right now is spending an extra $445 every single month to buy the same old things that we bought 1 year ago just because of inflation. That is a lot of extra money. Now remember, that's on average. Maybe an extra, maybe some some households are maybe spending an extra $200 a month. Some might be spending $400. Some might be spending an extra $1,000 a month right now. That's why that $445 is on average for the average household right now. So again, inflation, as you can see from this report right here, is still very, very high historically, especially over the last 1 year, right? You can see this. These are what the numbers are showing us, and this is what the reports are now showing us as well. So, however, at the end of the day, let's just be real. To look at these reports and to see that inflation is coming down, that's actually good, because remember this much. Over the summer, inflation peaked out at 9.1%. However, let me point this out as well. We know that since about June, the Federal Reserve has been aggressively raising interest rates at about 75 basis points every single meeting, basically throughout the entire summer, as of just their last meeting about a week ago, okay? So they've been raising interest rates at a rate of 75 basis points every single meeting, which, by the way, that is very, very high. Generally, they raise interest rates at a pace of about 25 basis points. So they're raising interest rates 3 times faster than what they typically do, okay? Just to kind of put that into perspective, right? So that's very, very important to understand. Well, as a result of that, we can see here, the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates significantly just over the last, call it, 6 months or so, okay? But they've brought down inflation about 1.4%. Does that really make any sense? Okay, so inflation has come down 1.4% from the high water mark, or the peak in the summer of 9.1%, up to this latest reading of 7.7%. That's a spread of 1.4%, okay? That is not very much, considering the Federal Reserve has raised interest rates significantly over the last, call it, 6 months or so, okay? However, let me point this out as well. Considering this information, okay, considering the most recent inflation data, the information we just got earlier today, considering this, going forward into the December meeting with the Federal Reserve, they're going to be meeting again in December. In fact, the week before Christmas, they will be meeting, okay? So mid-December, the Federal Reserve will be meeting again, and they're going to be deciding what to do with their interest rate policy, and are their efforts working? Is it bringing down inflation? What's going on with their policies, okay? So they're going to take into consideration this inflation report, and of course, the inflation report of next month as well, which they will get prior to their next meeting, okay? So, very important to understand this. So, they will be getting this inflation data, and they're going to be looking at all this information to see, are the efforts that we're taking into consideration here, is it bringing down inflation or what? So it's highly anticipated the Federal Reserve will likely raise interest rates less this next meeting than what they're going to be doing going forward, or what they have been doing over the last several months. So this next meeting is highly anticipated. They're going to raise interest rates by about 50 basis points versus 75 basis points. Big deal, right? Well, in the eyes of investors and in the eyes of a lot of people, that's actually a good thing, considering that the Federal Reserve is starting to see that their efforts on their interest rate policy and bringing down this inflation might actually be working, okay? Maybe a little bit, but again, remember this much. The Federal Reserve has a lot of road ahead of them, okay? Just because we got finally one report of inflation showing that this is cooling down a little bit does not mean that we're out of the woods. Not even close, like I said a minute ago. This inflation that we're still seeing right now, in relation to this most recent report that we just got earlier today, is still about 5% above where it really should be. The benchmark for the Federal Reserve is about 2 to 2.5%. That is generally the benchmark for the Federal Reserve and inflation, okay? We're sitting a solid 5% higher than that, okay? So we're certainly not out of the woods here. Not even close. One report here doesn't really mean a whole lot, okay? It could be bumped right back up next month, okay? We don't really know. So again, we've got to watch all of this stuff. Now, here's what also is interesting about this. President Biden was just out yesterday, and he said he can't promise that the Federal Reserve or even anything going on is going to be able to bring this inflation down. So even the president yesterday was saying, hey, I don't know. I don't even know if we can promise that we're going to bring the inflation down. So he's not even feeling all that confident about this either, okay? So we got to take into consideration all of this. But what we do need to watch going forward is the Federal Reserve. We got to watch the Federal Reserve very closely, because they're the ones who pretty much have the wild cards on this thing, and they're the ones who can pull the strings of the puppets to see what's actually going on, and of course, what they're going to do with their interest rate policy and ultimately impact the inflation the interest rates, the economy as a whole, all kinds of different aspects on this. We've got to watch all of it very closely. But either way, the end of the day, let's just say this much. Yes, the report did come in a little bit better, but at the end of the day, inflation is still very, very high right now. Let me ask you this much. If you just so happen to have a receipt laying around from last year, about this time last year, maybe you bought groceries, maybe you bought some clothing, maybe you bought shoes, maybe you bought, doesn't really matter, literally does not matter. If you have a receipt laying around from 1 year ago, I'd encourage you, pull it out and take a look at it. You're probably going to be shocked to see how much lower prices were a year ago than what you're currently paying today for the same old things. That's a problem. That's a major, major problem, okay? So we still have a major problem with inflation right now. It's not going away anytime soon. This is just one report, remember. This is just one report where we're seeing finally a little bit of progress on this inflation. We've got a lot of road ahead of us here, and the Federal Reserve certainly has a lot of work cut out for them as they need to bring this inflation down by another 5% at least to bring them within the realm of where they actually want to be. That's a lot, okay? 5% is a lot, especially on a month-over-month basis. We're only seeing it come down maybe, a couple tenths of a percent, right? So basically, since we hit the high water mark, 5 or so months ago, we've only seen inflation come down 1.4%, okay? So as you can see from this, in 5 months' time, since the peak at 9.1%, we've only seen it come down 1.4%. Does that kind of give you a better perspective on how long this is going to take? Yeah, it's going to take a long time, probably another year and a half to bring this inflation down to where they really want it to be, unless they get really aggressive, but we just already know that's not going to happen. Even during the peaks of all this, when they should have been raising interest rates 100 basis points, 1 full percentage point every meeting, they weren't doing it. So there's no way they're going to get even more aggressive now, okay? Anyway, a lot of moving parts here. I want to bring this to you. I've been talking about this every single month here because inflation is a very hot ticket item right now, especially for the low income and fixed income. We continue to watch these prices continue to accelerate. The prices continue to move higher on everything. And as we've talked about so many times now, it's not fair. It's not fair, especially for the low income and fixed income who can't do anything about your fixed income benefit. You can't call up Social Security and say, hey, Social Security, my groceries cost me an extra $20 this week. Do you mind, covering that for me? They're going to say, not a chance. That's not how Social Security works, okay? That's not how the programs work. So you can clearly see here, fixed income benefits like Social Security and all the fixed income benefits that we talk about here on the channel are fixed. That's why they're called fixed income benefits. But as we continue to see prices continue to rise on virtually everything, you can see here the great divide is happening, right? Income is staying the same, prices are going up. It's not adding up here, okay? It's not making sense here. So we got a lot of work ahead of us, but either way, we need to continue watching this inflation. It's a good thing. It's going down a little bit. But again, they've still got a lot of work ahead of them. Either way, I want to bring you the latest reports as we got this information and a lot of new reports hitting the wire today. And like I said, still that shocking information, an extra $445 a month is what the average household is spending right now. Anyway, thought this would be interesting for you. Finally, a little bit of good news out there. And again, I'll continue to watch all of this for you and keep you posted with everything going on. So, hope you're doing well. Please have a nice day. Again, thank you so much for watching this. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, have a nice one. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you again later.